Competitive.
I think he's good at everything he does.
Off the chart. He know how to hit.
One of the best hitters ever seen. No matter what his last couple of years have been, his hand-eye coordination is off the charts.
Every year he about 300, so it's very special.
Definitely fun to be on his team and watch how he goes about himself and how he prepares himself, and just seeing him play, it's impressive.
Tonight's Cold Hard Facts brought to you by the Silver Bullet Clean Crisp Coors Light. Joe Mauer's .445 on base percentage. Very good, obviously, leading the league by plenty. The next closest in the American League is Logan Forsythe with a .408. The Menards batting order for the Twins: Danny Santana, Brian Dozier, Joe Mauer, Miguel Sano, then Plouffe, Park, Arcia, Murphy, and Nunez. Danny Santana started the game last night with a home run off the foul pole and right, and he stands in against Mike Fiers. And strike one is the call. Santana, Dozier, and Mauer facing Fiers, who has had the Twins eating out of his hand in his games that he's pitched against the Twins. Off the plate, 1-1.
It is kind of interesting how certain guys have other guys' number, and it works both ways, offensive against the pitcher, defense for the pitcher. But Fiers, even when he was with Milwaukee, has done a good job against the Twins. He's making his sixth start here tonight, fourth at Minute Maid Park.
Scott Berry calling balls and strikes. Trip Gibson, Jerry Lane, Hunter Wendelstedt, and the count to Santana, 1-2. Very slow breaking ball, 72 miles per hour, and he gets an opening strikeout here in the first. Northland Ford defense for the Astros. Carlos Gomez in center, flanked by Colby Rasmus and George Springer. Valbuena, Correa left side of the infield, Altuve, Gonzalez tonight the right side, and Jason Castro starting his third game of this series. One down, here's Brian Dozier.
This series, the Twins have been very susceptible to the off-speed, very slow breaking balls, and it seems like the Astros have just backed them up one after another.
Dozier hustling down the line. Great play by the second baseman Altuve, making the play.
We're so accustomed to Altuve and Correa making great plays defensively. That ball, just a check swing that got by Fiers on the mound. You'll see he tries to backhand it, and that might have a little bit confused Altuve, who was playing on the shortstop side of second base, but he bare hands the ball, makes a strong, accurate throw, and quickly there's 2 outs for Houston.
And now Joe Mauer, designated hitter tonight for the Twins. He has extended his consecutive games reached streak regularly in his first plate appearance, either with a walk or a hit. He'll try to get aboard here in the first for Miguel Sano. At the knees, strike one. Mauer's average, .316, tied for 10th in the American League. More than 50 points behind the leader, Nick Castellanos of the Tigers. Ground ball right side, easier play for Altuve, and a very easy 1-2-3 first for Mike Fiers. A.J. Hinch has had to be very patient with his team early in the season. Last year, of course, the Astros got into the wild card game, won it, got into the ALDS before losing to the Royals. Menard's batting order for tonight. It will be Jose Altuve leading things off, then George Springer, Carlos Correa, Colby Rasmus, Carlos Gomez, Preston Tucker, Marwin Gonzalez, Luis Valbuena, and Jason Castro.
And they're going to be facing right-hander Phil Hughes, making his 6th start against the Astros here tonight. And Phil was a little erratic, and his own terms would admit that in his command. He's got such good control. His last start was a little bit erratic, so we'll see if he's been able to correct that. The warmer weather might help. It's been a beautiful weekend here for a week here in Houston.
He walked Ian Kinsler, the first batter of the first inning, and the Tigers went on to score 3 runs in the first, and he delivers strike 1 to Altuve.
One thing I think it's just very intriguing, interesting for me to watch Phil Hughes. Here's a guy with one of the, well, he's got the best command really in all of baseball, and yet he's a guy that lands very stiff with his back. He stands straight up almost. He hardly ever bends forward. I know he's had back issues in the past, and it's hard for him to finish through the ball. So he takes a little bit shorter stride, and he doesn't have a lot of body movement. And I think that's what makes him so confident in being able to repeat his delivery. See his delivery here. It's pretty simple. It's not an overstride. He doesn't finish off, though. It's almost a recoil if you look at it from the side.
1-2 to Altuve. Missed inside, 2-2.
And that's a pitch that Phil loves. He loves to start that little cutter at the hitter, the right-handed hitter, and try to have it break just on the inside corner where the hitter will give up on it thinking it's going to be off the plate in, and it comes back and grabs the inside corner.
Fly ball right field. Sano goes back. The 5th leadoff home run for Altuve. You can see from up here, he was just kind of rolling his eyes. If you put the barrel of the bat on the ball to right field, whether you're a right-handed hitter or a left-handed hitter, there's a decent chance it's going to go out. I think Hughes thought this was just a routine fly ball.
Well, the pitch was right over the heart of the plate. You see it started outside but kind of tailed back over the middle, and you're absolutely right. With this roof open, we haven't seen a series with the roof open here in Houston, and it's been open all 3 nights, and the ball certainly does carry well to right field.
George Springer takes ball 1. Five times already this year, Altuve's led off a game with a home run. And now up and away, 2-0. Springer with a convincing home run last night, landed somewhere up there on the railroad tracks.
He swings hard.
And now Hughes misses with his first 3 pitches to George Springer.
Had a long talk with one of our colleagues on the other side, Alan Ashby, who does TV analyst for the Astros, and he was talking so highly of George Springer. He thinks he has very similar talent to Carlos Correa, the American League Rookie of the Year last year, who plays shortstop, and really thinks this kid Springer has as much upside.
And fouled away, 3-2.
He's hit home runs in both games in this series. Here's the one that he hit Monday, the opposite field. Ball that carried into the right field stands, and last night he absolutely crushed a ball that went over the railroad tracks, which is a long way up there.
3-2 from Hughes. And a walk. And Springer reaches, and Hughes is starting another rough first inning. Oakland Ford defense for the Twins. Oswaldo Arcia in left field. Danny Santana in center. Miguel Sano in right. Bloof, Nunez, Dozier, and Park with John Ryan Murphy behind the plate. Here's Carlos Correa. Correa with a big double in the third inning last night against Alex Meyer, who was sent down right after the game. J.R. Graham added to the roster, at least in the short term. Down and away, ball one. Graham will fill a spot, one would think, until Irvin Santana is activated from the disabled list this weekend in Chicago.
Yeah, Santana's set to pitch Saturday's game. And there's going to be a roster move, obviously, when Irvin comes off the DL to pitch that game.
1-0 now to Correa.
This Houston team is a very, very good fastball hitting team. And I think Phil has tried to change speeds already in this game, show a lot more breaking balls than he normally would. He usually comes out in attack mode and just pounds the strike zone with fastballs. But
Alex Meyer sent down to Rochester, where presumably he'll stay in the rotation. Graham struggled in AAA, but he's back up here to provide some long relief for the Twins in the hopes that they won't need it, but if they do, he'll be available. 2-0 now to Correa. And he got a fastball and spun it back to the screen.
Speaking of Graham, one of the reasons Tommy Malone had to throw out of the pen for several innings in last night's game, and he right now is the long man. Michael Tonkin was originally slotted for that, but he's kind of moved up the ladder into the later innings, or at least the mid innings, and they want to kind of keep him in the same role. So Tonkin will, or excuse me, J.R. Graham will assume that role for a few days.
Fouled away now, 2-2. I think we've noticed from Phil in his last couple starts, covering 12 innings, not many swings and misses at all. A lot of foul balls. He had just 2 strikeouts in his 5 innings against the Tigers and 2 strikeouts in his 7 innings against the Nationals.
And that's all a confidence thing, and we're not seeing as many fastballs for whatever reason.
Into the left field corner, a fair ball. Springer around second on his way to third. They're going to wave him around. Here's the throw from Nunez, and not in time, and on the throw, Correa goes to third. A quick start for the Astros against Phil Hughes.
Well, this ball gets rattling around the corner, and Arcia has a tough time getting to the ball. Finally hits the cutoff man Nunez, who does a good job of getting rid of the ball, but he doesn't have a lot on his throw. Springer, who runs well, scores easily, and by that time Correa, very good base running, just keeps going around second base, and he's standing on third base now, 2 runs in.
Colby Rasmus will hit. Twins playing the infield back, nobody out. Rasmus 1 for 14 in his career against Phil Hughes. Just a couple of strikeouts. Ground ball backhanded by Nunez, and he throws him out, but the 3rd run of the inning comes across, and Phil Hughes continues to have problems in the game's 1st inning. It's already 3-0. Carlos Gomez will hit next, but first our Toyota key stat. And Phil Hughes has limited the number of walks, but as we saw against the Tigers in his last start, when they do walk, they typically come around to score, it seems like. Just one game has he had 3 walks in a game. 6 times he's had 2 walks, including each of his last 3 starts. Base is empty, 3 in, and here's Carlos Gomez. Strike 1. Gomez with a pair of doubles in his return to the lineup last night. Fouled back. Gomez acquired from the Brewers in the same trade that brought them tonight's starting pitcher Mike Fiers. Of the two, Gomez was the most desired property. Fiers pitched awfully well for the Astros after being acquired. Gomez swings and misses, a strikeout for out number 2. And that'll get us to Preston Tucker.
Phil Hughes having a very similar start to his game that he had last time. He allowed a walk, a double, and a single that scored 3 runs in his last outing in the first inning. This time a home run, a walk, and a double.
The thing that's happened as the Twins have finished April and gone into May early on, the pitching in general and the starting pitching in particular was decent. Not great, but decent. And now the pitching numbers are starting to get inflated here. Twins entered the game with an ERA of over 4. And that's off of the shin of Hughes. And it'll be an infield hit for Tucker. The third hit of the inning, this one off the ankle, it looked like, of Phil Hughes.
Rough start for Phil. The ball comes right back at him, and we talked about it. Phil has a tough time bending over. He's always had a little bit of back issues and never really even gets down on that ball. Tries to get his feet out of the way. He says he's okay. Trainers have been asking him from the dugout, so he's just going to reload here and try to get Marwin Gonzalez out.
Astros have 4 players hitting in the bottom 4 spots today, all entering the game with a sub 200 batting average. Tucker has singled, and now Gonzalez checking in at 196. The American League average earned run average, all 15 teams, computes to a 3.78 earned run average, and the Twins a full quarter run plus higher than that. Only the Red Sox, Yankees, and Astros have a higher team ERA than the Twins. 1-1, and the pitch count climbing for Hughes here in the first inning. This will be number 25.
It just hasn't looked very crisp for Phil Hughes. Typically he comes out and pounds the strike zone, gets quick outs. And he's been out of the stretch a lot this inning. Trying to really get on the same page. I think he's kind of confused as to how to go about pitching right now with these Astro hitters.
1-1 to Gonzalez. In his first year with the Twins, when he won 16 games, we regularly saw fastballs about 94. And now Phil seems to be topping out at 91. One and 2 to Gonzalez. Just off the plate, now 2-2. Twins used up a long reliever yesterday in Tommy Milone, and we talked about J.R. Graham. He's here. The Twins hope not to have to use him, but Hughes has already thrown 26 pitches and finds himself behind early 3-0. Still laboring in the first inning. Breaking ball tapped up the line, foul.
Phil came out of his last start with only 8 pitches in the low 80s, and Paul Molitor was asked after the game, you know, why didn't you send him back out there? And he talked about Phil's body language. He said sometimes the pitcher can tell you more by just the way he's acting on the mound than he does coming up to you and talking to you. And I think Phil is showing that similar body language right now. It's like he's not comfortable on the mound, and it's taking a lot more time than we usually see from him.
Bouncer, and Nunez scoots over to his left, throws to Park to end the inning, but another 3 spot for the other guys in the first against Phil Hughes, and Miguel Sano will lead off the Twins second when we come back. T-Mobile. Some news and notes from around baseball. Jake Arrieta rolls along. 17 consecutive wins. 6-0 this season. Good night for Justin Smoke. A game-tying 9th inning home run and game-winning 10th inning home run. Lorenzo Cain with a 9th inning single for a Royals win last night. Then they committed 3 errors in the first inning today and lost to the Nationals 13-2. Strike one to Miguel Sano. Trevor Plouffe. Byung Ho Park will follow. And outside, 1-1. Fiers has given up a lot of home runs. The ballpark, we're led to believe,
might have
has contributed to that. There's the ball tap foul. 7 home runs allowed in 29 innings coming into the game. And he had a 1-2-3 first inning. The Twins are waiting for Sano to have that breakout game.
And yet Fiers has got a very, very good strikeout to walk ratio during that time. He's got 22 strikeouts and only 3 walks. 24 with the leadoff strikeout for Danny Santana in the first inning.
Not counting this plate appearance, Fiers has faced 123 men and walked 3 of them. That's pretty good, pretty impressive.
And the guy at the plate has kind of gone through a dry spell with the bombs, with the home runs, and you'd think that in this ballpark with this pitcher you might see one.
Hit into the shift with Altuve playing on the other side of second base, 1 away. That'll bring up Trevor Plouffe. Twins fans, join the Heart of 29, a year-long campaign to help support the American Heart Association. Purchase a special Carew's Corner ticket package Fridays in May and get a Rod Carew Twins jersey. Fans can also join or pledge Rod's team at the Twin Cities Heart Walk. For more details, visit foxsportsnorth.com and click on upcoming events on the Hot Topics bar. Here's Plouffe, returned to the lineup last night when hitless, and he takes strike 1 over the inside corner. Popped up and out of play, 2 strikes. Fiers came over from the Brewers and almost immediately pitched a no-hitter, the first no-hitter in this ballpark. Gave the Astros 9 good starts down the stretch, and I think Most people were a little surprised that he pitched as effectively as he did. Last year was his first full season in the big leagues.
You see his numbers here at Minute Maid Park. Pretty good record here.
Stroked. Great pickup by Valbuena. He turns and fires. What a play. Luis Valbuena takes a hit away from Trevor Plouffe.
Defense is the pitcher's best friend. He can really make up for some extra pitches that would have to be thrown. You can see that he gets down low and lets that ball come up. Puts himself in a great position to pop up and make a nice throw over to first base. So big league play right there from Valbuena.
Byung-Ho Park, the average up to 250, 7 home runs, and he takes down and away ball 1. Talking with Paul Molitor this afternoon about Park, he said he needs to make sure he communicates to Park how well Paul thinks Park has done to this point in the season. And he and everybody else had a hard time getting hits in the first week and a half of the season, but the batting average is climbing steadily. He's found himself in more counts like this, 2-0. He's showing a better eye at the plate than he did early in the season, now 3-0. And the power, as you suggested in the open, is immense. I mean, when he hits a home run, it clears the fence by 40-50 feet at least.
He's got good body control in the batter's box. You know, he'll take a rip once in a while and look silly, but his body control is steady. You know, he's balanced, and he does things very well to get his bat started. And most of those home runs and a lot of his hits have been right out in front of the plate where that power's generated. There's a base hit to left. Just a crisp
single to left, yeah. And that'll bring Oswaldo Arcia to the plate.
Byung-Ho Park leading all rookies in the American League. You see his numbers for home runs.
Czar, the American League Rookie of the Month with 3 home runs. But we've seen power to all fields and improved discipline and production at the plate. We mentioned in the last couple of days this guy was an on-base percentage beast in South Korea. And now we're seeing better on-base percentage. He has the first Twins hit, and that'll get Arcia to the plate. Down and in, ball 1. What the Twins have not had, maybe Arcia has come the closest to doing that when he had a couple of walk-off hits and another dramatic home run late in a Twins win. Twins haven't had anybody carry the club for any length of time at all. The ball ripped to right center field, a base hit. Park around second on his way to third, and Arcia scalds a single. The Twins will get Murphy to the plate representing the tying run. You know, regardless of what a team's record is, usually by this point of the season somebody just took off and had a great week. The Twins haven't had that.
Mike Fier is another one of the Astro pitchers that's not going to blow you away with fastballs. They have well, all 3 guys that we've seen in this series. McHugh last night, and Keuchel on the opening night. You know, they're depending on off-speed pitches and they're breaking ball and out of the zone, those kind of things. Once in a while, a fastball that really is not blowing you away, but it's up in the zone, kind of catches you by surprise, and that should really be an advantageous for the Twins hitters. The more they see these guys.
That was one of the theories given when we got here about why the Astros have struggled in the pitching department. Last year they had the lowest team ERA in the American League. This year the highest. And it was just that a lot of guys are similar in stuff and style and velocity. 1 strike to Murphy.
Well, Lance McCullers is their one guy that can get the ball up there a little bit. He's just about ready to go out on a rehab stint. They expect him back fairly soon.
He can throw in the mid-90s when healthy. 1-1 to Murphy. 3 hits, 36 at bats in his first year with the Twins. And a fastball, strike 2. looking for his first Twins run batted in. Fastball away. Fires, reaches back, and then comes almost straight over the top in his delivery.
Very deceiving, though, because a lot of guys that come over the top, you think they're going to really throw that hard fastball. And Fires very deliberate, very slow in his actions, and throws a lot of off-speed pitches, a lot of breaking balls.
2-2 to Murphy. Fouled back.
See his delivery from this angle. Kind of old school right there. He lifts his front shoulder up, peeks over it. Typically pitching coaches want you to keep your shoulders level, but it was almost like the old pictures of Bob Feller or
Juan
Marichal.
2-2 to Murphy. Slow breaking ball got him over the inside corner. A couple of 2-out singles are left aboard. It's still 3-0. Better second inning.
Let's take a look at the pitch selection for Phil Hughes this year. You can see he's thrown about 52% fastballs. Cutters are in the pink and the curveball is in the gray there. But I think Phil, when he came over, probably threw closer to 60% fastballs that first year. It was pretty much fastball cutter and hardly ever threw a breaking ball like that slow curve right there to start a hitter. Of course, Rick Anderson and now Neil Allen have encouraged him to try to get that first pitch breaking ball over in this. It's almost like a free pitch for him because he was pounding so many guys with fastballs early in the count.
Nunez charges and has time to make the play one away. But now, if I'm Phil Hughes and I've noticed that my fastball doesn't have the life that it once had, doesn't it naturally follow that you go to your secondary pitches a little more frequently?
That is why they pay you the big bucks, is because that's very observant. Certainly, when you're not feeling it
I'm not getting big bucks, but Phil Hughes is.
When you're not feeling it, you're going to have to reinvent the way you attack hitters. You're going to have to try to figure things out. What can I do to get through the lineup? And I think, what we're seeing is body language says that he doesn't have the confidence right now that he did when things were going well. He's 1-4. Why would, when you're 6-1 or 5-1, you're pretty confident out there. And this team has struggled, and so has Phil. So, it all goes hand in hand. But I think he's trying to feel his way back into that comfort zone, and it'll come. I'm confident it'll come.
Fouled away, 1-1.
That's why I always got a kick out of it during my career, where, you know, they didn't have these charts and numbers as much. I mean, they did start while I was pitching, keeping track of how many fastballs versus breaking balls you threw. And I remember every once in a while a writer might come up to me and ask me, well, you threw a lot more breaking balls today than you did fastballs. And I said, yeah, do you know what my arm feels like? And they don't ever consider that. They think that, you know, that was your game plan. Well, it converts into a game plan because you're making adjustments out there.
Fastball up and away at 92, the hardest fastball we've seen tonight. And the count's 3-1. And now with the count 3-1, the Twins will put on a shift for Castro, who dropped down a bunt single 2 nights ago and then hit an opposite field home run on the first pitch he saw against Alex Meyer in the 3rd inning last night. Second walk issued by Phil Hughes. It's 4 starts in a row now where he has issued 2 walks. And the Twins are hoping that he's going to be out there for a while longer yet tonight. Target Field suites are available for single game rental for groups of 16 to 150 plus. You can enjoy a climate controlled experience and a fantastic view of the Twins game with food and beverage included. Learn more at twinsbaseball.com/groups or call 800-33-TWINS. Schedule your suite at Target Field. Here's Altuve, hit an opposite field home run. If pitching here presents some challenges, you'd never know it last year. The Astros, as we said, led the league in ERA. If you're a hitter like Altuve or Correa or any visiting ball player, you should feel pretty comfortable when you see a guy 5'5" clear the wall in right field by plenty. I mean, how many guys that size? Now he's got 8 home runs. He's had a career high 15 last year. There's a ball hit to left center field, down for a hit. Now Arcia spins and fires. Well, you've got to be able to be confident in your approach at the plate. You don't have to get in any bad habits, knowing if you want to hit home runs, you can hit them to the opposite field as well as on the pole side.
Well, again, I think you make a good point, and I think what happens in ballparks like this, and it happens when you first go to Fenway if you're a right-handed hitter and you see the monster out there and it seems like it's 200 feet away, and you say, man, I'm going to have fun here. Well, if you change your swing to get pull happy or to home run happy, typically that goes the wrong direction for you in the results column. And I think all you have to do is be confident that if you make good contact, the ball is going to take care of itself in ballparks that are hitter friendly.
Springer pushes a bunt foul, 1 strike. Remember years ago when I was working broadcast with Harmon Killebrew, he said they'd go to Fenway Park in the early 60s. This is a Twins team that hit 220 home runs a year. Said he and Bob Allison for a weekend in Fenway, if they didn't come out of there with 5, you know, I know they were veteran hitters. If they didn't come out of Boston with 5 home runs, they thought they had a bad weekend. 315 down the line, a tall wall. 326 down the line, but again, with the roof open, it just seems to shoot out to right field. Down and away, ball 1. What was the biggest home run park or the best home run hitters ballpark you pitched in?
Well,
Tiger Stadium was pretty friendly down the
Tiger
lines,
Stadium,
right?
yeah, both sides, 320 down the lines. And they had the overhang porch in right field that, I don't know, I think it was 319 to the upper deck if you hit that overhang. But we had a huge center field, 440, and a lot like this field. It's kind of shaped like a rectangle,
right?
Old Tiger Stadium, so it was 440 direct center field. But a lot of ballparks changed, and I thought they got a lot more hitter friendly when they rearranged the ballparks.
Swing and a miss. Springer tried to hit one up on the railroad tracks again. The new Yankee Stadium, they talk about right field and how it's very easy for a left-handed batter to just lift the ball a little bit with some authority and hit it into the seats in right field. But based on what we've seen here in the last couple of nights, I'm not so sure this isn't right up there with Yankee Stadium.
It's certainly, the ball has certainly been carrying here in this series.
Fouled away. It's still 2-2 to Springer.
Another thing, this is just a generalization, and I don't know, I'm sure I'll be reminded by somebody that's got the stats to prove me wrong, but it seems like more and more hitters are hitting the bottom half of the ball. You're just not seeing ground balls the way you used to see ground balls. And I don't know if that's being taught to hitters to, you know, make sure you hit the bottom part of the ball. If you miss on the bottom side so that the ball carries. You know, you want the ball to get that backspin and carry. And you look at this Houston lineup, I mean, Springer, Correa, even Altuve, they have an uppercut swing, and yet they hit the bottom part of the ball. So not a lot of ground balls.
2-2 to Springer. And another pop-up foul and out of play. I'm not so sure that the only swing and miss that Hughes, well, the one to Springer a few moments ago, but then the one that struck out Gomez, a breaking ball, and that's been about it. Correa on deck. Drove in a run with a double his last time up.
Phil, 20+ pitches per inning for Phil. I mean, he's at 43 already, and we're not even out of the second.
To center, chased by Santana, can't get there. Castro will score. Altuve right behind him, and it's 5-0. Springer crushing one to one of the deepest parts in the park out near Tal's Hill. And the Astros are jumping all over Phil Hughes. Neil Allen to the mound.
See this pitch again for Springer. And you can't put it on a tee any nicer than that. That's the ball right down the middle. We talk about Springer and his ability to swing hard. The ball gets by Danny, and once it does, both Altuve and Castro score easily.
Quick trip to the mound by Neil Allen. Phil Hughes has faced 11 men, given up 2 walks, 4 hits. 5 hits, excuse me, 3 extra base hits, still only 1 out in the second inning. And Correa the batter. Hit a double into the left field corner, went to third on a throw home, part of a 3-run first inning. Strike one. The Astros' 4th year in the American League. Seems like they've been here longer than that now. Took me 2 years to acknowledge that they were no longer a National League team. But doesn't it seem like more than 4 years ago that they switched leagues? Got to the playoffs last year. Beat the Yankees. Had a 2-1 lead over Kansas City in the playoff series, a best-of-5 series, and led going into the bottom of the 7th inning. What could have been a clinching game for them. Strike on the outside corner. It's 1-2.
That really did propel the Royals when they came back and won that game. It was off to the races for Kansas City, and really the end of it for Houston. That was a big game.
1-2 to Correa.
Pace of game, this is just not typical. Phil is usually really crisp and getting a sign, throwing a pitch. He doesn't take a lot of time, and you know, when you give up a bunch of runs and a lot of pitches early, it's an indication that you're really doubting things, that things are going the wrong direction, which they have been. 48 pitches for Phil.
A couple years ago when he was going good, 48 pitches, he was about ready to wrap up the 4th inning. He's only got 1 out in the 2nd. 1-2 to Correa. Breaking ball, sliced foul. Phil Hughes has 1 win this year. Ricky Nolasco has 1 win, and then the other night, Jose Barrios got his first major league win. That's it for the starters in terms of getting wins. We were pointing out Saturday the Twins are going to face Chris Sale, and he's what, 6-0 already?
6-0 with
the entire Twins starting rotation, and it's, you know, they've run a bunch of people in and out of there. A total of 3 wins.
Oh.
The Twins in Chicago will face Matt Latos. He's 4-0. Chris Sale 6-0. Quintana's 4-1. And in aggregate, the Twins rotation has 3 wins.
What we've started seeing here is the bullpen getting the majority of the work in games, and Phil Hughes struggling early here tonight. Pitch count way up already. You just already know that the bullpen is going to get some innings in tonight.
Pitch up, shoulder height to Correa, and he's still got a piece of the bat on it. A nightmarish start for Paul Molitor in his 2nd year managing the Twins. Another 2-2 coming to Correa. Three and 2 with Rasmus on deck.
Twins have been on the field a long time this half inning.
7 men hit in the 1st inning. Correa the 5th batter this inning with only 1 out, and now a full count. To right center and deep. Santana tracking it in the gap, makes the catch on the edge of the track. Tagging from 2nd. Springer will advance to 3rd. Another well hit ball for out number 2. And that'll bring up Rasmus. Rasmus drove in a run with a ground ball in the 1st inning. 1 for 15 against Hughes. Still looking for his first hit. He struck out 4 times on Monday night. Hit the ball in the air 4 times last night. Off the outside corner, ball 1. 55th pitch coming for Phil Hughes.
He had a tough start his last start, but this one's even more magnified. Phil just does not look, nor is he pitching like the guy we're used to seeing.
It's to right field. That'll dive for a hit, score another run. Rasmus finally gets his first hit, and the Astros have backed up a 3-run first with a 3-run second. It's an Astro team that strikes out an awful lot. And the only man who has struck out against Hughes here, he's gone through the lineup 1.5 times, is the next batter, Carlos Gomez. And we told you that in his last 2 starts against the Nationals and the Tigers, he pitched a total of 12 innings and only struck out 4 batters.
Well, you talked about it as we started this ball game, that Phil just not getting a lot of swings and misses.
Started the season with 4 quality starts. But whether you like that statistic or not, the qualifications were barely met in 3 of those. Roughly 6 innings, 3 earned runs. That's the bare minimum for a so-called quality start. 1 strike to Gomez. In his most effective start, numbers-wise, 2 starts ago against the Nationals. 7 innings, 2 earned runs, but again both runs scored in the first inning. Casey Fiend getting loose in the second inning. Twins have an off day tomorrow, but they've got a 13-man pitching staff, meaning 8 relievers. Bouncer to third, backhanded. Plouffe fires to second, and they get Rasmus at second base. 3 more for the Astros in a quick 6-0 lead. Baseball on Fox Sports North is presented by CenturyLink. Switch to CenturyLink Prism TV for an advanced TV experience. Learn more at cprismtv.com. Allen talking it over with Phil Hughes. A pat on the back, which might signal the end of his night. If so, 2 innings, 6 earned runs. Here's Eduardo Nunez leading off the third for the Twins. What we saw last night from Alex Meyer, and if in fact that's the end of the night for Phil Hughes, starting pitcher really hasn't given the Twins much of a chance at all to win a ball game. In the case of Meyer last night, I don't know what you thought. It just looked like he was done after the home run and the 2 walks, and as much as the Twins wanted him to stay out there and maybe pitch another inning or so and collect himself and all of that, they couldn't afford to do that. It looked like he just was completely done for the night.
Well, somebody told me that he threw 2 changeups. You know, he's got a fastball. We're talking about Alex Myers now that, you know, he didn't have great command of. He did for the first inning, but that started getting erratic. He threw a bunch of breaking balls that they chased, and then all of a sudden he couldn't get the ball by him, couldn't throw strikes, and a few walks, and you know, Paul just didn't have the confidence to leave him in there. Phil Hughes just not Phil Hughes tonight. He's really struggled.
Nunez with a 2-2 count, facing Mike Fiers, the beneficiary of 6 early runs of support. Twins got a couple of 2-out singles in the second. Nunez getting the start at short because Eduardo Escobar has not really hit as well the last couple of weeks as we're used to seeing him hit. And in contrast, Nunez has been hitting since the start of the season, hitting at .371 coming into the game, primarily as a third baseman when Trevor Plouffe was there. And now Nunez with a foul ball, and that took a bite out of Castro. Ouch. May 9th is Scrubs Night at Target Field. A limited number of Scrubs Night theme night ticket packages are available that include a game ticket and Twins scrub bottoms. Go to twinsbaseball.com/scrubs to learn more about the Scrubs Night theme night offer. A little extra time given Castro to let the nerve endings quiet down a little bit. Nunez, Santana, and Dozier here in the Twins' third. Home plate umpire Scott Berry checking how he's doing. Maybe wondering whether he wanted to get into a different line of work. And that's what Nunez has done all year long. An absolute rifle shot to the gap in left center field. It's hard not to put his name in the lineup, even with Trevor Plouffe back. He's been stinging the ball since opening day.
I think as long as he keeps doing that, he's going to get chances to play. You can't keep a guy that's swinging it so well out of the lineup. Just a nice, easy swing. The ball jumps off his bat. He runs well. And he's on with a leadoff double.
Santana struck out to start the ball game.
So much of this game is about the ebb and flow of momentum, and pitching really is the key to that. Your starting pitchers have to go out and shut the door. And I know,
knocked down at first by Gonzalez, and Santana will reach with a hit, sending Nunez to third.
Danny Santana continues to swing a pretty hot bat.
4 of the last 5 batters have gotten hits against Fires.
I know it's a lot easier up here. You know, Twins fans are frustrated, but pitching is so important, and controlling the tempo of the game early and giving that offense a chance. Defense is something that everybody should be able to play. When you send when a manager sends a team on the field, defense is something you can control, and pitching is something that is going to be up and down just like hitting. But it's so important that the pitchers hold the other team in check until your team scores, and then get them off the field quick so they can do it again.
You touched on the defense, and we talked a little bit about this before the game today. In the years I've been covering the Twins, things started turning from bad to better when the defense got better. It was the case in the mid-'80s when the Twins in '82 lost 102 ball games. But then, lo and behold, it looked like the third baseman was starting to play Gold Glove caliber defense, and he did. Gary Gaetti won 3, I believe. Guy at first from day one. Ken Herbeck was as good as they got at first base. Then in '84 they brought up a center fielder who ended up winning 8 Gold Gloves, Kirby Puckett.
Greg Gagne was good at short.
Santana steals second.
Makes it look easy. Danny Santana getting another stolen base, and now Twins have 2 runners in scoring position. You're absolutely right. When you look at the Chicago White Sox this year, pretty much the same team, but they added some defense, and it has changed the dynamics of that ball club completely as Danny slides into second base. Chris Sale off to a great start, who really struggled last year, and he had terrible defense behind him. I mean, they're a night and day different team this year because of their defense.
2-0 to Dozier. High fly to left. Back is Rasmus at the wall. Gone. A 3-run home run, cutting the Astro lead in half.
8th home run now off Mike Fiers. And that ball.
Can I suggest to you that at Target Field, that ball doesn't get to the warning track?
Exactly. That ball was a home run because of this ballpark.
So double single home run, and just like that, the Twins are back in the ball game.
Well, it can happen quickly here at Minute Maid. 2 guys on, a leadoff double by Nunez, a base hit by Santana, and now Brian Dozier just lifts a high fly ball to left field that maybe in a few ballparks would not have been out, but it's out here. So Twins score 3 here with nobody out.
The 8th home run allowed by Fiers. Now strike 1 to Joe Mauer. Sano and Plouffe will follow. The Twins team, 15 years ago, started its turnaround from irrelevance to relevance with defense. Doug Minkiewicz won a Gold Glove at first base. Torrey Hunter won the first of his Gold Gloves out in center field before the 2002 season. The ball lined to left, a base hit. 4 straight hits for the Twins here in the 3rd inning. We might be in for a long night here tonight.
And Joe Mauer continuing his streak of getting on base with that base hit. Crisp ball hit to left field. You know, Danny Glad and I were talking in the dugout today with a bunch of the players. We sometimes really enjoy our time that we can spend in the dugout when they actually interact with us, talking about differences of generations. But I admitted to him over the years, if I was fortunate enough to have the career that I had, I really would be a fool not to talk about the great defense I had at up the middle, shortstop, second base, and center field. And it seemed like every team I played on, there was really good defense up the middle. And I could depend on, if I got ground balls or if I got a ball hit anywhere up in that direction, I was going to get an out. And it's so important to pitchers to have that good defense behind them.
Here is Sano. Popped up behind first. Long run for Springer. Still running. Still running. Making a foul ball catch. Tremendous range in right field by George Springer. He was playing in right center field for Sano and crossed the foul line to make the catch.
Marwin Gonzalez, the first baseman, he really doesn't put any kind of effort on this. You know, he's way closer than Springer was. Of course, he would have been running away from home plate, away from the ball, but you're right, Springer had a long way to go for that one.
And now Plouffe hit a ground ball to third, his first time up.
Trevor was hitless in his first game back last night.
Inside, ball 1.
Well, Valbuena made a great play, maybe steal a base hit from Trevor in his first at bat.
It's to left. Rasmus back, makes the catch on the warning track for out number 2. Really well hit ball for the second out. That'll bring up Young Ho Park. Carsoup.com trivia. We hope you play along at home. Which Twins player hit the most home runs as a rookie? I know that.
I think I know that one. Weren't we just talking about him?
I don't think so.
No.
I don't believe the man's name has been brought up on Twins television this year. Here's Park, line to single to left. The first Twins hit against Fires. There's a slow breaking ball for a strike.
Come on, Mike. Come on, Mike.
Single worth 10 more points to Park's batting average. He's kicked it up from 250 to 260.
Well, a long ball here, and this is going to be an interesting evening. It already appears to be going to be one of those nights where you don't really want to go to the elevated part of the diamond out in the middle of the grass.
Swing and a miss, 1-2. 77 at bats for Park. Twins envision him getting 550. And foul, so he's on a pace to threaten that Twins rookie home run record. And that's in his first year. I imagine a year from now we won't be talking so much about the transition. Hope the young man stays healthy and be a big part of the middle of the Twins lineup for 3 years after this year. 1-2. Check swing, 2-2.
He's a lot stronger than I thought he was. He's a lot bigger than I thought he was. And I don't see him breaking down. He's one of those guys that's built like a tree trunk.
2-2. Foul back. I asked Tom Bernansky in the last homestand, where does his strength come from? Oh, he's what, 6'2", 230. But to your point, he said it's his legs.
Yeah,
he's got tremendous drive and power in his lower half. 2-2. Twins have gotten one long ball this inning, looking for another from Byung-Ho Park. And now 3-2 with Arcia on deck.
Park having a good at bat. You're right. Every single pitcher he faces, it seems like second, third time around, he's more and more comfortable with them. I think he, that's a good indication that he's really studying things and paying attention.
And he got him on a pitch down and away. Twins cut the Astro lead in half. Brian Dozier hitting his 4th home run of the year with 2 men aboard.
It's a pretty cool place.
I love going to Houston.
It's home. I love it.
One of the things I like is it's a very short park, especially to left field. So I love playing there.
Good people, good atmosphere. They love the game baseball.
Those combinations and then nice little locker room underneath for the visiting team and a good spread make that a pretty good place.
Well, Brian Dozier hit, what would you figure, about a 325-foot home run with 2 men aboard, something like that?
Nice little pop up to left that ended up in the bleachers up there.
Well, the Twins back in the game, but again in the 3rd inning, they got to go to the bullpen. Phil Hughes lasts just 2 innings tonight, 6 earned runs, and now it's Casey Fiend on the hill. Preston Tucker, Marwin Gonzalez, Luis Valbuena will hit for Houston. Tucker with a single his first time up, was left aboard in the 1st inning. Outside, ball 1. So the Twins, with 28 games started by an assortment of starting pitchers and only 3 wins. Phil Hughes will not get the win. The Twins still come back and win the game, but it won't be Phil Hughes getting the decision. 1-1.
That's really a difference in the game. Now there are guys. Chris Sale off to a great start for Chicago White Sox. Jordan Zimmerman off to a great start for Detroit. they're getting decisions in almost every start that they take the ball, going deep into the game. But it's really a changing of the guard in baseball, where because of pitch count, because of a lot of reasons, the bullpen is getting more and more of the decisions in ball games.
1-2 to Tucker. Fiend with a 93-mile-per-hour fastball and getting a strikeout to start the third inning. Maybe a more disturbing number than the just 3 wins, although that's enough to make Neil Allen stay awake at night, I suppose. Twins have already used 8 different starting pitchers. With the injuries to Kyle Gibson and Irvin Santana, the ineffectiveness or lack of distance gone by Tommy Milone. Only seen Nolasco and Hughes have taken the ball every time their turn has come up. And now Hughes has come up with back-to-back clunkers.
Yeah, and we're in early May. It's just like I say, it's a different time in baseball, and it's more and more common. I mean, we kind of went through a little bit that last year with injuries early coming out of spring training. This year the Twins were all healthy, no problems at all in spring training, but the cold weather in early April grabs them a little bit. Really a rough start for the Twins.
1 strike, and Gonzalez shows bunt and takes a ball. It was 25 years ago that the Twins got off to a slow start and then won the World Championship. There was a 15-game winning streak in June, and we know the rest. But one of the things I remember about that year, to contrast what we've seen this year, whoever was on the mound, whoever was starting that game, and there are those of us who wake up in the morning, that's one of the first things we think about. All right, who's starting for the Twins today? And whoever it was in that year, it could have been Denny Nagel, who was called up in the middle of the season. You felt good about the team's chances of winning with whoever it was on the mound that night, and somehow the Twins need to get back to that.
Yeah, and I think it evolved. I really do. You mentioned, we're talking about the '91 World Championship team, and it started with a very slow start. Guys pressed. A lot of the offense was not clicking early. The pitchers were pressing. I included had a terrible start in my estimation. But once we got rolling, there was a confidence level, and it was almost like everybody tried to top each other, and that was fun competition.
15-game winning streaks will do that for you, I suppose, but you'd wake up in the middle of April and you go, let's see, Jack Morris pitched last night. It's Kevin Tapani's turn, and you know, Tap was rolling pretty good in the second half last year, or at the end of the year too. 2 down in the third.
You look back at that starting staff, and we had 3 out of the 6 months American League Pitchers of the Month. 3 different guys. Erickson, Tapani, and myself all won
3 different ones.
3 different ones.
Wow.
So that'll help your team.
David West started some games for the Twins that year. Two down. Casey Fiend trying to restore a little order to this game. Boy, would that be a welcome sight.
He's done his job so far. 2 for 2. Strikeout and a little ground ball over to Brian Dozier there.
Surprises me to look it up here. There were 10 different starters for the Twins in 1991. Paul Abbott 3. Alan Anderson 22 starts. I forgot about him. Willie Banks. Tom Edens made 6 starts that year. Where did we fit him in? Fouled back. Erickson 32 starts. Guthrie 12 starts. Jack Morris 35. Kevin Tapani 34. Denny Nagel 3. David West 12. 1-2 to Valbuena. Would you take, Tap and Erickson and go off on a camping trip or somewhere? How'd they get Tom Edens into the rotation that year?
I apologize if you're listening, Mr. Edens, but I don't remember you. Lifted foul. That's terrible. I feel terrible.
Tom Edens went 2-2. He had an ERA of 4.09, 8 games, 6 starts. You know, if it hadn't been for his 2 wins, he only would have won 93 that year.
I know.
1-2 to Valbuena. Casey Fiend trying to wrap up this 3rd inning on his 13th pitch. And moved his feet, full count, or 2-2, excuse me.
Well, even with just 13 pitches, the pace of this game is just very, very slow. And I'm wondering if John Ryan Murphy is just having trouble communicating signs. It's just taking so long in between pitches. Phil Hughes really seemed to be not on the same page with him.
Knocked down by Park, but there'll be no play. To his backhand side, we've seen him make that play, but not there. And a runner will reach with 2 outs in the 3rd. The Twins Flex Plan gives you the flexibility to choose your games and your number of seats. You can choose in advance or even the day of the game, so don't plan. Flex Plan. Go to twinsbaseball.com/flex or call 800-33-TWINS to learn more. Number 9 batter Jason Castro. And they have just given Valbuena the 7th Houston hit. Castro drew a walk, and as we suggested after Phil Hughes' last start against the Tigers, when he walked the first man, we knew it was not going to be a good night for Phil Hughes. Well, he didn't walk the first guy tonight. Gave up a home run, then he walked the next guy, and he walked Castro, the number 9 batter. A 3-run first, a 3-run second. The Twins trying to crawl out of a big early hole.
Casey Fiend last appeared in the first game of this series. In the 7th inning, he just pitched 1/3 of an inning, but a whole different role here tonight, coming in what may be for long relief. Now J.R. Graham was just called up to kind of fill that role, but Paul Mahler going with Casey here.
And a strike. 1-1. So sad to think, but it's true. Twins with a 13-man pitching staff, and I don't know where the next, counting the 3rd, where the next 6 innings, maybe 7, maybe more, are going to come from. Swing and a miss.
Well, the off day tomorrow is going to help, so I think anybody that's got the green light out there, and by that I mean Neil Allen will have a chart, goes over with Eddie Guardado, the bullpen pitcher, pitching coach, and they will go over a chart about whoever's not available. They'll have a red light next to them, a little red mark, and they got the day off no matter what the situation is. And then everybody else will have a green light or a yellow if there's caution.
That's lifted deep to left, and Castro hits his 2nd opposite field home run in as many nights.
That's just another ball that just did not look like it was hit that far hard off the bat, but it seemed to carry. It almost looked like the ball jammed him a little bit, but the Astros get 2 of their runs back on 1 swing of the bat.
So now 8-3. An infield hit followed by another home run from the number 9 batter. And Jose Altuve will bat. Foul back. Altuve scored 2 runs. He homered to right field. And it's important, I think, to acknowledge how many home runs we're seeing to the opposite field here. Target Field is a very difficult ballpark to hit an opposite field home run in. What Park has done there, very few right-handed batters have done. Opposite field home run to right field. And we've known all about Joe Mauer's difficulty in hitting that home run to left field that he was so good at the Metrodome. But here, my goodness, Castro's got 2 of them. Altuve's got 1. Park has got 1. And that'll reach the seats. 2 strikes.
Well, one of the reasons is, this is just my theory of Happy Jack the Weatherman, but the weather has been cool in Minnesota so far.
Right.
And the ball seems to carry better at Target Field when the weather heats up there. I remember a couple years ago, everybody complaining about home runs. It was a cold, cold day. Toronto came in and hit about 20 of them.
Bean underhands it to Park, and that ends the 3rd inning. Another home run for the Astros. 2 more runs, and Oswaldo Arcia will lead off the 4th. By Northland Ford. Visit northlandford.com and your local Northland Ford dealer today. And by Grand Casino. The best stories start here. Eight 3, and our Oswaldo Arcia will lead off the 4th for the Twins. And Mike Fiers keeps seeing his teammates score more runs for him. Arcia with a single his last time up. And now a strike 1-1. It'll be Arcia, Murphy, and Nunez in the 4th. Want to pass along happy 100th birthday to Lorraine Waller, who's watching tonight in Eden Prairie. A very loyal Twins fan. And Lorraine, we appreciate that and hope that this day's been a very happy birthday for you.
Absolutely. That's quite an accomplishment.
I bet Lorraine remembers the answer to our trivia question. She's been a Twins fan going back to the 60s.
Well, she probably tweeted out to her friends, got on Facebook.
This one squirted down the left field line. Rasmus can't get there, and Arcia will hold up after a single. He's got a couple of hits. And this one just a little flare down the left field line.
Leadoff man on again.
And John Ryan Murphy will bat. Murphy called out on strikes to leave a couple men aboard in the 2nd. chopper foul. Murphy started the game here Monday night. Did not get credit for a complete game, however.
Well, he had a little bit of an issue with second base umpire who was behind the plate at the time, Jerry Lane, on balls and strikes, and turned around to ask him a question. Jerry took a little bit of that the wrong way and decided that he had seen enough of John Ryan, threw him out of the game.
Oh, 2. He looked over his left shoulder, stayed in that position for a while.
I asked him, what did you say? And he said, Jerry, where'd you have that one? But the fact that he turned around is what really upset Jerry.
Two strikes to Murphy. And a called third strike. So Murphy's been called out twice here tonight. And that'll bring up Nunez. Tuesday, May 24th, it's the 12th annual Kids in the City, celebrating the Fox Sports North Boys and Girls Club All-Stars. The event starts with a pregame party at Fulton Brewery, followed by the Twins and Royals game at Target Field. You can visit foxsportsnorth.com, click on upcoming events on the Hot Topics bar for details. Nunez had a good at bat hitting out of the 9 hole, and he drilled a double to left center field. Up and in, ball 1. Hit a home run here the other night.
He's been swinging well. And there's another hit.
Slashes a base hit to right center field. Arcia around second, on his way to third. Nunez to second with a double, and the Twins trying to put together a threat here in the 4th. They'll turn the lineup over now to Danny Santana. A double each way to each gap for Eduardo Nunez.
Carlos Gomez got over to that ball, and I think had he come up with it cleanly, there was a chance that Nunez might have stayed. His helmet was already off, so that's usually an indication that he's not stopping. But he bobbled the ball, Gomez did, and Nunez got into second base very easily.
Santana struck out swinging in the 1st, singled off the glove of Gonzalez in the 3rd, and then scored on the Dozier home run. Need a hit to the outfield here to get a couple at least on the 4th. Grounder to second, and Nunez will score. Santana gets a run batted in, and Arcia will score, and Nunez to third base. And that'll bring up Dozier.
Well, this is what Brian Dozier did with his last plate appearance. Got a fastball up and over the plate, and he hit it into the left field bleachers there for a 3-run homer. Got the Twins within 3 at that point. Since then the Astros have put a bunch of ugly numbers on the board.
The home run by Castro changes everything in this at bat. If not for that home run, if not for the 2 runs in the bottom of the 3rd inning, Dozier would represent the tying run. Having a good series here with 6 hits, getting the average up to 222. Tapper to short. Correa has an easy play, and that ends the 4th inning. Twins get one back on a couple of hits, and it's 8-4. And 2/3 of them, using my Minnesota high school math, 2/3 of them scored by the Houston Astros. Sanford Health Injury Report. Alex Rodriguez on the disabled list with a hamstring injury. It will impact Aaron Hicks, who now figures to get most of the time in right field for the Yankees, with Carlos Beltran moving to the DH spot. Yankees really struggling scoring runs. And as I dab a tear from my eye because of that, you look at the Yankees in last place in the American League East.
A lot of Yankee fans very, very disappointed, and the rest of the world is smiling.
Did you have a, if not contempt, dislike for the Yankees as a player?
You know what? I had respect for the Yankees.
Yeah.
And really the crazy owner, George Steinbrenner, because whether you liked him or not, he helped players. He kept the salary structure up there by signing free agents all the time, and the Yankees were always competitive.
Springer takes strike one from Casey Fiend.
And they had one thing that I liked, and that was swagger. They went out to the field very proud that they were the New York Yankees.
Now for a big pop up here. Wow, this is way up there. And Santana calling off Dozier, making the catch. We'll pick up that thought in a second, but you see a pop up like that, and it was a pop up very similar to that at the Metrodome 32 years ago today. Dave Kingman popped it straight up, and I can still see, I think the picture itself won photograph of the year back in 1984 with Houston Jimenez and John Castino, the middle infielders for the Twins, staring up, shrugging their shoulders. The ball never came down.
Hit it so high it never came down. Defied Earth's gravity.
Now it's happened, I think, a few times at Tropicana Field since, but swing and a miss by Correa.
Well, that one hit so high, I'm sure if the roof was closed, it might have come close to hitting it.
In Kingman's case, as you may remember, the Metrodome, they had 2 layers of fabric, and the lower or inside layer had ventilation holes. And Kingman hit a pop-up. It went into one of the holes, which were, I believe, about 3 feet wide, something like that.
Yeah, they looked like a softball from the field, but they were probably about 3 feet wide.
And it didn't come back down. And I never quite understood. I think Frank Viola was the pitcher, and I never quite understood why. I don't believe there was a ground rule in place for it. They just awarded Kingman a double. The ball driven to right.
Oh boy.
Gone. Correa hits one to the opposite field. His 4th home run of the year.
Man, this has just become a launching pad here with the roof open. That ball was hit well, but it just kept going. It's one of those things that did not look like a home run. There's been about 4 of those here in this series at least that just don't appear to be hit that hard, and they just keep going out.
359 the measurement of that one. Here is Rasmus. 2 runs batted in, 1 on a ground ball, 1 on a single. Rasmus's single in the 2nd inning, his first hit of the series. I think we could all be thankful that you weren't pitching when Kingman hit the ball up and looked like it was going to be caught somewhere in the vicinity of second base, and instead Kingman got second base because of a double. I just never understood why he was awarded second base. Would have been better to rule no pitch or whatever.
Dead ball. Start again. Just give him another pitch.
Not a strike, not a ball. It just, as memorable as it was, let's pretend it never happened. Ryan O'Rourke getting loose in the Twins pen. Casey Fiend normally didn't give up too many home runs, but he's already given up 2 here tonight. 2 strikes to Rasmus. And now a ball.
Ryan O'Rourke has not appeared in this series. Last pitched at home against Detroit.
One and 2. He's gotten 4 batters retired. He's given up 3 earned runs on a couple of very short home runs. Astros have scored at least 1 in every inning. And Fiend misses. 2-2. That's one stay in the ballpark, I believe. Although Sano's first move was to go back to the warning track, he comes in to make the catch, 2 away. He must have really gotten jammed because he got it airborne to right field. It didn't get to the warning track or beyond. That'll bring up Gomez. Gomez will be a free agent after this year, and it'll be interesting to see where he lands. He may not survive the year here in Houston. They've got a wave of young talent in the minor leagues. Strike 1.
Well, Houston's got a lot of young talent, and they don't have that high a payroll. They've tied up Altuve for a few more years, and a lot of young guys, so they might go with the youth movement for a couple more years and not even have to worry about free agency, other than maybe a key player to add, pitcher maybe.
Twins have been very active, of course, in trading center fielders, starting with Gomez, then Span and Revere, and now Hicks. Check swing, strike 3. Gomez is gone on strikes. He is a strikeout victim for the 2nd time tonight. The Astros add another run on the board. Nine to 4. Twins can't put a tourniquet on the matters here. Keep giving back runs. And Mauer with his single in the 3rd inning, extending his season opening streak of reaching base in 28 games now, approaching Kent Hrbek's record of 33. Hrbek got a handful of at-bats in 81, but 82 was his rookie season. And there wasn't a whole lot to get excited about in 1982. Twins wise, except for their rookie first baseman. Jumped out, got on base a lot. Twins lost 102 games that year, but Hrbek finished 2nd to Cal Ripken in the Rookie of the Year voting.
It's hard for me to really put a finger on it that there's a lot of fans that never saw Kent Hrbek play. And tremendous defensive first baseman.
Strike called in his early years. A fast runner. He would bunt for hits. Was the master of the butterfly stretch at first base. 1-2 to Mauer, leading off the fifth. And foul to the screen. It'll be Mauer, Sano, and Plouffe. Phil Hughes left after the second inning with 6 earned runs on his log. Casey Fiend's given up a couple of, 3 runs now, 2 in the third, 1 more in the fourth. 1-2 to Mauer. Second hit of the ball game. On the breaking ball to Mauer, and he drove it hard to center field for a leadoff hit.
9th hit of the game for the Twins. And numbers kind of deceiving because they're trailing by several. You see just a slow breaking ball that stays right about belt high. Joe waits back. Classic swing. Just a great base at bat for Joe there.
Sano with a grounder to second and a pop fly down the right field line. Springer made a nice catch after a very long run. Up and in, ball 1.
Take another look at Joe's swing on that last base hit that he hit. Ball's hit very slow, and he steps with that lead leg, but his body weight, hands, head still, everything picture perfect.
That the 2 things you mentioned, the head being still and the hands being still or quiet, are the 2 things that Tom Bernansky pointed out to me that he's worked really hard with Joe on, and Joe's been able to do that with the eye training, the vision training. His head is so much more still. 1-1, way up and in. 2-1. Trying to come back here, but whether they win or lose this game, I think everybody would like to see Sano die a long distance here just to get that feel back. It's kind of in the same rut. It's been a week and a half since he's hit a home run, but he's in the kind of the same mode he was in to start the season when it took him a while to get that first one, and then after the first one a couple more came pretty quickly. 2-2. Second time he's thrown that slow breaking ball around Sano's helmet.
Yeah, if I was Fiers, I'd stay away from that right now because he's tracked a couple of those, and all he's going to do is do what you just asked him to do, hit a ball a mile if he hangs another one that's out over the plate.
Three and 2. Got a piece to stay alive. You know, Fiers has been given a lot of early run support. He's still got to get through this 5th inning to qualify for the win.
Activity in the Astro bullpen. Joe Mauer, the leadoff man, on first base. Josh Fields is throwing now.
Sano staring at a huge hole in the right side of the infield. Excuse me, roller. And Altuve fires, and the throw pulled Gonzalez off the bag. Otherwise, it might have been a double play. Altuve with a very strong arm nearly doubled up Sano.
Sano will reach base on a fielder's choice. See Altuve racing for the base with Joe Mauer, but he's got to watch his foot hit the bag and get rid of the ball almost simultaneously, and the ball was thrown high.
Plouffe robbed of a hit by Valbuena in the second inning. Then he hit a liner caught by Rasmus on the edge of the warning track in the third. Ball one. And a fastball strike. When has been the case for most of the right-handed batters here in situations like this, when the second baseman is lined up where Altuve is, he was during the Sano at bat, and now again for Plouffe. At some point we have to stop calling it a shift. It's become more the norm to have the second baseman play over there than where Lou Whitaker played for you.
I still don't buy it. You know, imagine pitching and you turn around and you've got nobody on the left side. It's like, hey, I'd step off and say, well, what's going on? You know? Well, you guys done talking over there? Get back over there, Lou.
Look at Sano. He just hit a little bouncer up the middle, and it would have been a single if not for the shift. And we've seen it happen to Brian Dozier a number of times. Ball that, when it's hit up the middle, you think, all right, base hit. But no, not anymore.
I wonder if there's any attorney that could maybe look at baseball and the original rules and say that the shortstop had to play in this zone, second base, and then just file a grievance and say you got to play on that side.
That'd solve it. Let's get some attorneys involved.
I take that back.
That'll solve baseball's problems.
Just trying to wake you up here. The crowd's quiet. This game's moving along at the speed of I don't know what.
Cold molasses.
Yes.
3-2 to Plouffe. Park on deck. Pounded foul behind Gene Glenn. Ordinarily, you'd say Twins with 9 hits, 4 runs. It's a good night for the Twins, but not when pitching staff has had a tough time keeping the ball in the ballpark.
Top of the 5th inning is all the further we are in this one. So yeah, those numbers usually equate to a pretty good start to a ball game.
Stroke foul. Audra Martin, Jack Morris, Dick Bramer, and the Minnesota Twins will leave after the game. We'll all head to Chicago. An off day there tomorrow. And then 3 with the White Sox. The best record in the American League. Cubs have the best record in the National League. And another one hit to almost the same spot. White Sox are trailing at home to the Red Sox 3-2. But if they come back and win that game, they'll have picked up their 20th win. Cubs won their 20th this afternoon in Pittsburgh.
Chicago, a good place to be a baseball fan.
Oh,
right now.
I should say so. Plouffe battling fires. Pitch number 87. Lifted to right. And Springer hardly has to move. 2 away. That'll bring up Jung-Ho Park. Check some baseball news from the day. Steven Strasburg, 5-0 on the year. The The Nationals got 6 runs in the first thanks to 3 Kansas City errors. And the Cubs completed a sweep of the Pirates. And Nelson Cruz hit a bomb in Oakland.
The Washington Nationals are off to a great start in the National League. The Cubs certainly playing very well.
Park takes strike 1. In fact, that's what I'm going to be doing tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Nationals are playing the Cubs, and I'm going to go to Wrigley Field and watch a baseball game.
Gotta love a guy who just can't get enough, huh?
And here's something my son's really excited. He's going to be with me, and I'm not going to say a word the entire game.
You just get to
I'm
sit
just going to sit and watch.
some hot dogs. Cinco de Mayo in Chicago.
That's right. 1-1 to Byung-Ho Park. One and 2.
They've thrown a lot of breaking balls off the plate to Park, and hasn't quite made that adjustment at a couple of his at-bats here. That's what Joe does so well, is just keep his weight back and recognize the ball.
Down and away with a fastball. There was a Park bang last night off the facing of the second deck in right field. And now 3-2. Fires might very well complete this inning and might very well pick up his 3rd win of the year, but it has hardly been a good performance here. He retired the first 5 batters and been pitching from the stretch pretty much ever since. Fouled over the Houston dugout. Fires had a tough time before finally retiring Trevor Plouffe. Now a long at bat with Byung-Ho Park. High fly deep down the left field line, but it's going foul. Hit it over the tracks, I think, on the fly.
Yeah, that landed out in the street somewhere. You talk about the shift in the way the game is played today. Byung-Ho Park's got a month in the major leagues. He's got 3 games against, this is his 3rd game against Houston, and they've got a shift on him.
But again, look at the distance between the first baseman Gonzalez holding the runner and
Altuve.
where Altuve's playing.
120 feet. 110 feet anyway.
Ball 4, and Park will take a walk, and that'll get Arcia to the plate. And here comes, with 2 outs in the 5th, here comes A.J. Hinch, and he's going to make a pitching change. And Fires shaking his head from side to side, and I don't know whether it's done in frustration or not, but the call's already been made. Fires 1 out away from qualifying for a win. And the fans here give him a round of applause as he exits. Mike Fiers checked out of the ball game. MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, delivers everything you've come to expect and more. You can watch every out-of-market game live in HD on over 400 supported devices. Includes a free subscription to @Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for details. Here's Arcia. The Twins need a jolt here to get back into the ball game at 9-4. 2 on, 2 out. Arcia has a pair of singles already on the night, facing Josh Fields. Inside, ball 1. Couple of men aboard. Mauer started the inning with a single, and then Hart coaxed the 2-out walk. Two and 0. Bullpen, specifically Casey Fiend, had a tough time giving up a couple of tape measure shots. Yeah. Little flare home run to left and a liner to right that barely cleared the wall. Well, we'll see if the Twins can put a dent into the Houston bullpen here.
You just get the feeling that this game is not even close to being over yet. Arcia can put a jolt in one here.
Count is 2-1. Roof has been open for all 3 games here, and I don't believe we've ever played a game here. Generally scheduled just usually has us playing here in August, not this early in the season. 3-1 with Murphy on deck. They say this time of the year it can be very nice, as it has been. A little warmer today.
Beautiful. Couldn't ask for nicer weather.
3-1 to Arcia. Foul back 3-2. Out one to take a lot of walks. We know that. He has walked 4 times in with 54 at bats. Full count. Arcia takes outside. It's a walk to fill the bases. Single to center, and now a couple of 2-out walks, and Murphy will have yet another chance to drive in his first run as a Twin. Murphy's been called out on strikes twice. Up with 2 men aboard in the second and was called out on strikes, and was called out on strikes after Arcia's single led off the 4th. And now they're loaded up.
You were telling me earlier that Twins don't have a catcher with a home run yet. How about right now?
Ball 1.
More activity now down in the Astros bullpen. Scott Feldman, right-hander, has not pitched in this series yet, so A.J. Hinch getting him up and loose.
Popped up left field. Rasmus back, still on the grass. And Murphy leaves 3 more aboard. Twins threaten, don't score in the 5th. home runs hit in this 3-game series, and so many of them to the opposite field.
Well, Houston is home to Nassau. At least a lot of Nassau was based here in Houston, and I think our crack shot guys in the truck, by calling it the launching pad, might not be too far off in this series.
Well, left-hander Ryan O'Rourke will come out of the Twins pen to try to keep the Astros at 9.
Ryan making his 8th appearance out of the pen. He has not pitched since the home series back against the Tigers. So he's going to pitch to a new hitter.
Evan Gattis hitting for Tucker. First pitch hit to center, a base hit. Gattis is aboard with a pinch hit single, and that'll bring up Gonzalez. And Gonzalez 0 for 2, a couple of ground balls. The Astros getting 3 runs in the first, 3 runs in the second, 2 in the third, and 1 in the fourth. Inside, ball 1. And down and away, 2-0. Two teams with similar records, but the Astros pulling away here in the middle innings, trying to take the series 2 games to 1 and win back-to-back games for the first time this year.
That in itself is pretty crazy.
Hit hard but foul. 2-2. 2-1, excuse me. A.J. Hinch, the surprise of many, got his team into postseason play last year. They won the wild card game and lost in 5 games to the Royals. High expectations for the Astros this year, as there should have been, but major issues in the pitching department. Three and 1.
The Astros, you look at their record, 1 better than the Twins coming into the series, and part of their problem has been the starting pitching and a lot of mental mistakes early.
Well, 3 and 2.
It appears that they're starting to swing the bats a little bit better, especially here at home. But when you make mental mistakes, base running mistakes, those kind of things, and then your pitching staff gives up a lot of runs early in the game, it's awful hard to be in games. It's kind of amazing to me that they have not won back-to-back games yet.
Full count to Gonzalez. And ball 4. Gattis hits the first of O'Rourke's pitches into center field for a single. And then Gonzalez takes a walk. First and second, nobody out. Valbuena will bat. Valbuena on the night. Bouncer to short, and a single and a run scored. Made a fine play defensively behind the third base bag on a bid for a base hit by Trevor Plouffe. And a bunt to first. Mark waits. Out of the baseline, he's ruled out. And both runners move up. They'll get credit for a sacrifice. We've seen the Astros do a lot of bunting, regardless of the score or situation. The way this game has gone, and the Twins have been on the cusp of getting back into the game with a lot of base runners. Not a bad idea. I know nobody's going to take offense to that. Up by 5 runs in the 5th inning, running runners up. Castro will hit with the infield drawn in. One strike.
Castro with a couple of home runs in this series. One in today's game that he shot to left field. Again, the other one that he hit was the same place, out there to left field.
He was knocked out after 2 innings, giving up 6 runs, but then the Astros got a 2-run home run from Castro against Casey Fiend, and another run in the 4th. Excuse me, on a home run by Carlos Correa in the 4th. One and one. Ryan O'Rourke given an opportunity here, and the Twins hope that he pick up some quick outs, but J.R. Graham warming up already behind him.
It's been a tough game for both defenses. The players have been on the field for long half innings. And trust me, the pitchers aren't trying to do that. It's not by design, but they have really struggled to get off the field quickly. Flyers had a 1-2-3 inning in the 1st inning.
And they're loaded up. Number 9 batter's drawn his 2nd walk of the night. Castro came into the game hitting 186, and now they're loaded up for Altuve. Altuve homer to start the ball game, his 5th leadoff home run of the year. He singled and scored in the 2nd. And then Fiend got his comebacker and tossed him out in the 3rd.
Paul's stalling a little bit, and I think he's going to make a move now. J.R. Graham has been throwing, and he's just going to take the ball from O'Rourke. Had trouble throwing the ball over.
So O'Rourke leaves with the bases loaded and 1 out here in the 5th inning. Get the job done here. Just asked to restore a little order, but J.R. Graham was brought up after the game yesterday. Alex Meyer optioned to Rochester, and J.R. Graham brought in in the hopes that they wouldn't have to use him. But here he is in his first night on the job, and he's coming in with the bases loaded, 1 out in the 5th.
Well, this is where you can make an impression. This has just been a very ugly game. Unless you love long games and a lot of offense, this has been one of those games where neither team has pitched all that well, and J.R. Graham can maybe influence the organization a little bit again, getting a chance to pitch in this type of ball game. Just shut the door, get him off the field quick.
J.R. Graham, a different looking pitcher. Appearance wise, he dropped about 40 pounds in advance of spring training. Now he's still 30 pounds lighter than he was a year ago. To right center field. That is in play. It'll clear the bases, I think. Nope, just 2 runs will score, and Altuve nearly hit a grand slam on Graham's first pitch. Gaddis and Gonzalez both score.
Fastball down the middle. The scouting report is there for hitters today. They know that J.R. Graham throws a lot of fastballs, and that one was center cut. Jose Altuve got a lot of power for a little man, just makes good contact, hits the ball off the fence in the bullpen there. He's only a foot or so away from his second home run in this game, an impossible grand slam.
Springer will back. Corner infielders up. Middle infielders back. It is 11-4. Half swing, ball 1. Springer with a walk, a 2-run double and a fly to center. We're just in the 5th inning. And the Astros have 11 runs on 11 hits. They're working on their 4th Twins pitcher. And a strike that covers the inside corner. Popped up to short right. Ansono with the catch. And a bluff tag. And the throw way up the line. And Graham couldn't even block it. It hit the barrier in front of the camera well and carried him back toward home plate. A strong but terribly inaccurate throw.
Well, you're supposed to hit the cutoff man, and that in this case it was Byung Ho Park, first baseman. It went over his head, and it was so far wide that the catcher John Ryan Murphy couldn't get it, and then the pitcher, who's taught to back up, he didn't get over there in time either. But a good ricochet and a friendly gesture from third base coach Gary Pettis, who told Jason Castro, just stay here.
Correa the batter. Ball 1. And they'll remember J.R. Graham here in Houston. Correa with a double to the left field corner, driving in a run in the 1st. He lined out to Santana in the 2nd. Then he hit an opposite field home run in the 4th. Under the glove of Nunez. And another run will score. And Correa's hit the ball on the button all 3 times. So O'Rourke comes in, faces 4 men, 3 of them score. His log is done.
Well, J.R. Graham throws a fastball up and in, kind of woke Correa up there. He does a nice job of being a pro after it appeared that the ball was thrown intentionally up in there. And then he hangs a breaking ball right over the middle. Correa, the good hitter that he is, puts a good solid swing, and The hits just keep on coming.
The line score for the Astros reads 3-3-2-1-3. During the break, we're going to find out exactly where that is in a zip code. Strike one to Rasmus. A dozen hits, a dozen runs. One and one. Been an awful night for the Minnesota Twins. Half the runs charged to starter Phil Hughes, who lasted just 2 innings. 2-1 to Rasmus. 8th man to bat here in the 5th. If you're Mike Fiers, you're sitting in the dugout, figuratively, if not literally, kicking yourself.
Yeah, he's 1 out away from qualifying for the win. And he struggled. Twins have scored 4 runs. Fiers gave up 9 hits in his 4 2/3 inning, so it wasn't a pretty night for him either.
And a walk loads the bases, and Graham can't get anybody out either. 9th man to bat, and this is looking more and more like a game where a position player is going to have to pitch maybe multiple innings here tonight. You can see what the Astros have done to the Twins and what the Twins have done to themselves. Gomez has gone 0 for 3, and he'll have a chance here with the bases loaded. The problem, of course, well, there are several problems, but one of them is if you pick a bench player to pitch, there are only 3 of them to go to. One of them's a backup catcher tonight, Suzuki, Escobar, and Rosario. And Escobar, the starting shortstop. I don't know that you'd want to play any games with him. Here's Gomez. There are 2 outs. But 3 have scored, and there are 3 on the bases, and Graham misses again, ball 1.
Gomez, the 9th hitter to come to the plate, so they've hit around this inning.
And a collective from the crowd here at Minute Maid Park. Breaking ball, and it hits the bag. I could see that coming. 2 more runs will score. Gomez to second with a double.
Well, if that isn't an indication of how this night has gone, I don't know what is. But Dozier playing behind the bag there. And the ball rolls right up the middle, hits the bag, and ricochets out into right field. Gomez will be credited for a double and 2 RBI.
3, 4, 5, 6. 6th hop hit the bag, and the Astros get a double. Second and third, still 2 down. Gaddis hit the first pitch off of Ryan O'Rourke to center for a single. Now we got to look and see where area code 33215 is. We'll do that during the break.
I don't want to know.
fouled into the seats. 2 strikes. And there is the end of an awful inning. 10 men back. 5 of them scored. And the Astros have blown it open. Astros and their fans having some fun tonight. Twins fans, not so much. That gentleman's on his device there trying to find exactly where the zip code 33215 is, or Pepsi fans of the game. I think what we ought to do, Jack, is pool our money together and offer an all expenses paid trip to zip code 33215 because I'm told it doesn't exist.
Doesn't exist. There you go. Oh, let's just start all over here. It's one of those nights for the Twins.
Eduardo Nunez has 2 doubles, 1 to left center field, 1 to right center field. And after that, it's been an awful night for the Twins. Brian Dozier's hit a 3-run home run. Nunez, Santana, and Dozier will hit in the 6th. Fouled back, and it's 0-2. Kind of fell across home plate there. Twins have been insulted. The last thing they need to do is add injury to insult. Down and away, 1-2.
Nunez with a pair of doubles here tonight. His average up to 391. One of the right spots for the Twins offensively.
Toward the hole, scooped up by Valbuena. 1 away. And that'll bring up Danny Santana. Santana's driven in a run, stolen a base, singled and scored a run. Santana's taken over in center field after being activated from the disabled list. Byron Buxton, who was sent down, has picked it up considerably in AAA. He's got his batting average over 300. 13 hits down there, 6 extra base hits. Still too many strikeouts, but I think Byron's going to be one of those guys that's going to strike out once he gets accustomed to things. He's going to strike out once every 4 or 5 times. Santana out quickly, 2 down.
It's just it's good to see that Buxton's doing well down there, but I think it's also a reminder the big distance, the difference between AAA baseball and the major leagues.
55 at bats last year, and he hit 400 in AAA, and yet struggled up here last year and this year. Brian Dozier is being taken out of the game, and Eduardo Escobar will come in and hit for Brian Dozier. Dozier with a 3-run home run that got the Twins a little closer at 6-3, and now Escobar drives one to left center. Rasmus chasing it, leaps and makes the catch. Escobar with a liner the other way, and a quick 1-2-3 inning for Scott Feldman.
Here tonight, 14-4 over the Twins. And Twins fans, don't forget, at Twins home games, bring your Circle Me signs. And if you get circled, you may find yourself in the Minnesota Lottery Winner's Circle, where you could win $100 worth of lottery scratch-off tickets, courtesy of the Minnesota Lottery.
Bert Blyleven taking a little bit of a break. He'll rejoin Twins television in the next homestand, I believe. I'm sorry, the next road trip. Did I say homestand? Road trip. Cleveland and Detroit. There's a little roller to short. Gonzalez hustling it out. And a quick first out here for J.R. Graham in the 6th. Now, I've been in communication with Bert because he's, taking a well-deserved, he's taking a vacation. and he told me the other day that he broke his sand wedge.
Sandwich or sand wedge? Oh, okay.
He broke it. And he didn't say how. If it's just, the stress of repeatedly using it and trying to lift the ball out of the sand, that's one thing. But if he snapped it over his knee, well, that's not good. So we'll have to get to the bottom of that. 1 down. Here's Valbuena.
Escobar came in to play shortstop. Nunez goes to second base. We got a shift on now. Nobody on the left side, really. Plouffe is playing second. What is this? Got Nunez playing deep in the hole.
I believe Escobar is the shortstop.
He's still sort of at shortstop.
He made the play. I put 6-3 down.
And that's where he's been inserted. Nunez going to second base.
And he's now in short right field. Up and away. 1-2 to Valbuena. We're in the 6th inning, and the number 8 batters coming to the plate for the 4th time. Last year, J.R. Graham, of course, a Rule 5 pick, and was with the Twins all year long. And the breaking ball gets a strikeout. 2 away. And it'll bring up Jason Castro.
Take a look at the last one here. Breaking ball that Valbuena just could not hold up on.
And unless the Twins turn this game around, they're still going to have to record 7 more outs. This one, that's got to be gone, doesn't it?
No.
Caught at the fence. Castro, who's hit 2 out there, comes up a little short. It's a quick bottom of the 6th. Thank goodness.
Balls are flying here tonight. Brian Dozier, he gets in the hit parade. A 3-run homer at the time for the Twins. We're seeing balls carry to both fields, opposite field home runs. Balls hit by both right-handers and left-handers. Balls are flying.
So there's your story of the game. Joe Mauer will lead off the top of the 7th. Twins haven't had many games like this year. Lopsided games. This is the most lopsided of them all. That said, that doesn't make them any more pleasant to be a part of. Whether you are a player, a viewer. One strike to Mauer.
I think everybody on the winning side has fun, and everybody on the losing side not so much. It's, you know, I've been in both places, and you're embarrassed as a player in a game like this. You still have to try to focus. You have to be a pro. You have to get through it, but it's not a lot of fun. And quite honestly, it's fun for a while for the winning team, but you almost feel like the mercy rule should be in effect in some ways, because you want to play in more competitive games.
1-2 to Mauer. 2-2.
All I know is that both defensive teams have been standing around a long time in this one. The last inning was 1, 2, 3 innings for both sides. That's the first time that's happened in the entire game.
And now outside 3-2. Remember when you were playing, you would say, and I always thought you were joking, but I'm guessing you're probably right. You were 14-0 or whatever the number was when your team scored you 10 runs. Well, Mike Fiers can't even say that.
No.
He's got a no decision today. Mauer swings and misses. Strikeout to start the 7th, and that'll bring up Sano. Kick off the youth baseball and softball season with a free clinic on Saturday, May 7th at Prairie Island Sports Complex. The clinic is open to boys and girls ages 6 to 12 interested in learning basic tips and skills from Minnesota Twins community coaches. No pre-registration required. Visit foxsportsnorth.com, click on upcoming events for details. Here is Sano, 0 for 3. A couple of ground balls. He reached on a fielder's choice his last time up. No strikeouts. And a strike. And off the plate, 1-1.
I have no clue how many pitches, total pitch of it have been thrown in this game.
The right field corner where Springer makes the catch, 2 down. Somewhere in the neighborhood of 1,100, I'm guessing. The Astros will come to Minnesota in early August, a 4-game series at Target Field. And it'll be interesting to see what the rosters look like for the two teams. A lot depends on whether either team can recover from a dreadful start. Last year, the Astros were pretty active from the trade deadline, getting Fires and Gomez.
Well, they felt that they could make postseason. They got a couple guys to help them get there.
You know, that's the thing. You know, if the Twins don't start playing better, it won't matter. But you'd like to be in that position, wouldn't you? Where you look at the teams that got to the postseason last year. Astros made some moves. The Blue Jays really, jumped in getting David Price, and that seemed to be the thing that turned them around.
Well, and Troy Tulowitzki, when they got him, the whole attitude on that team changed. And of course, David Price helped pitch them to the postseason, and then he just couldn't buy a win again in the playoffs.
And then Texas Rangers getting Cole Hamels. That was a big acquisition for them. They got into the playoffs. But if you're Terry Ryan and you're seeing your team stumble the way it has through the first weeks of the season, what you might do before July to drive to right center field, and Gomez comes over, make the catch. That seems like light years away. 1-2-3, top of the 7th. That's the Frito Bandito, isn't it?
14-4, bottom of 7. And it's been all Astros. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Minnesota Twins and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and description of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Minnesota Twins, Trevor May will be the new Twins pitcher, and when he throws the first pitch, we got the information. It'll be the 253rd pitch of this game so far.
Really? How many did the Astros throw?
123 for the Astros.
Okay. Well, Trevor May will come in as J.R. Graham finished up the 5th, got through the 6th. And now with the off day tomorrow, maybe the Twins can get through this game without the embarrassment of having to use a position player. Altuve will lead things off against May. Strike on the outside corner. Back-to-back starts where the Twin starter was unable to complete 3 innings. That's about the only good thing about the pop-up right side. Park retreating. And then Nunez drops the ball. It'll be an error. Charge to Nunez. Whenever this game ends, if it ever ends, the only good thing you can say is that there's an off day tomorrow. Altuve out after reaching on an error. White will replace him as a pinch runner. George Springer will bat. About all that A.J. Hinch can do here is, in terms of bench moves, he's taken out 2 players. He's got his backup catcher left. May with a strike on the outside corner. Springer with a walk and a run scored in the first, a 2-run double and a run scored in the second. Since then, a couple of outfield flies. Toward the gap, Santana sprints over, makes the catch. 1 down. And it'll bring up Correa.
Good route right there for Danny Santana. He had a good jump, good read, ran right to where the ball was going to be.
Correa needs a triple to complete the cycle. Nearly got one in the second inning in a liner that Santana was able to track down on the gap. Hit a ton. I'm guessing there aren't too many balls hit up there.
Well, that one doesn't matter. You can hit all you want up there.
Hit it up there again, and it's 0-2, right?
Exactly. And then bounce one and watch him take a right turn.
1 strike to Correa. Breaking ball popped up to right field. And Sano with the catch, 2 down. We'll bring up Colby Rasmus. Just 6 pitches for May. He's completed 3 plate appearances, and then may impact what the Twins decide to do in the 9th inning. If he can get a quick 3rd out here, maybe they send him back out for another inning in the 8th. Rasmus with a bad swinging first strike.
Michael Feliz pitched the other night. Did a very nice job for the Astros. Pitched 2 innings, struck out 4, not allowing a hit or a run.
2 quick strikes to Rasmus. And there is strike 3. Trevor May. Mason's 4 men. Throws just 9 pitches and a scoreless 7. But they're still leading the division, and the White Sox obviously leading theirs. Young Ho Park will lead off the 8th for the Twins. Go back to our Car Soup trivia question, and I believe the answer is Jimmy Hall.
Well, you had such confidence in the way you said that. I'm not going to argue with you.
Yeah, 33 home runs, 1963. Left-handed hitter, center fielder.
I remember Jimmy Hall. Sweet swing.
Michael Phillies will pitch to the Twins in the 8th. Park with a single and a walk. And now a foul ball, 1-1. As the losses mount for the Twins, the one encouraging thing, I guess, is Park's increased comfort production level.
Felice pitched against Park in the first game of this series. He pitched 2 innings, struck out 4 Twins hitters, and Park was one of his victims.
Fouled into the upper deck here. 2-2. Off the end of the bat, and that will stay foul.
Hey boy, Mike. Come on, Michael.
And a strikeout. Second time that Park has struck out. And that'll bring up Arcia. And it looks like Ryan Presley's getting loose for the bottom of the 8th inning.
Well, I think
either him or Eddie Guardado.
It's a case where they just don't want to stretch out Trevor May too much.
Yeah.
He got his inning in, did a nice job, and they're hoping that maybe Presley can come in and do the same thing, and we can get on that airplane.
Fox Tracks presented by Carrier.
through all of this debacle here tonight. Oswaldo Arcia having a pretty good night, 2 for 2 with a walk. Reach base all 3 times.
2-1.
Come on, Mike. Come on, Michael.
The Twins have some decisions to make here pretty soon, I would imagine. Who to stick with? Arcia or Rosario? Arcia being the more productive hitter of the two. Rosario the better defensive player. But Rosario's been in the doldrums pretty much all year long. Arcia, when given a chance to play, has gotten some big hits for the Twins. 2-2. Drilled to center. And Gomez with the catch for out number 2. I'll bring up John Ryan Murphy. Murphy hitless. He's left a bunch of men on base again by my count. When he's hit, he's had 32 men on base, and he's yet to pick up a run batted in. He had that awful game a little more than a week ago, I guess, when he came up and left 11 men on base. Up high, ball 1.
He's had a tough go at the plate, no question about it. But Paul's got to give Kurt Suzuki a day here and there. Veteran Suzuki's squatted down behind that dish a lot of times already.
In the big leagues, of course, with the Yankees before this year, Murphy 262 at bats, roughly half a season, 4 home runs, 24 runs batted in. Now a pop up right side. Springer waits, and a 1-2-3, top of the 8th inning. Bottom of the 8th inning. And he'll face Carlos Gomez. Presley coming in for the 14th time. All the numbers pretty good.
Yeah,
3 home runs, a little
job.
bit high, but he's been entrusted with later inning duty.
The crazy thing about baseball today is you want to Trevor May and Ryan Presley and Fernando Abad, you prefer to have those guys only come in games that you have a chance to win.
Right.
These blowout games, you hate to have him come in, have to pitch an inning, but that's what it's come down to tonight. It's just been so lopsided and a tough game for the Twins.
1 strike from Presley to Gomez. Earlier, when Phil Hughes was out there, we talked about how Phil's had an awful time getting swings and misses. Well, not so for Ryan Presley. He gets swings and misses with the fastball, and of course that really sharp breaking ball that he's got. And that a called 3rd strike. Gomez strikes out for the 3rd time tonight.
Great location, good pitch right there. Presley picks up his first strikeout, and he does it quickly.
1 down, and now Evan Gattis, who took over the DH duties. Down and away, ball 1. High and tight.
Okay.
And now 3-0. Marwin Gonzalez on deck.
These are also tough innings for the relievers to come in. You're asked to get outs, but the adrenaline just isn't flowing quite the same as a game that's close or you're trying to protect a lead.
That's what they've always said about closers, and it's true, I think, for setup guys too. You become successful because you use that adrenaline to your benefit. Popped up and out of play. In other words, you're wired up for the moment and the situation, the intensity of it all, and then you have to figure out how to get people out without that intensity, without that adrenaline.
The real pros are able to go out there and it doesn't matter the situation. They can focus knowing that my job is to get this guy out in this situation. But the human element says it's going to be different in big games.
And breaking ball freezes Gattis out number 2.
2 breaking balls for 2 strikeouts looking for Ryan Presley.
And now Marwin Gonzalez, with Presley coming back from 3-0 to strike out Gattis. Three ground balls for Gonzalez and a walk. And the first pitch flipped foul.
Gonzalez is tardy on that fastball right there.
Up high with a breaking ball, 1-1. Astros did enough hitting and scoring through 5 innings, but they do not have a hit in innings 6, 7, and 8 so far. Two and 1. And foul ball, 2-2.
With 2 strikes, Trevor Plouffe going over there now to play behind second base. So the shift.
Escobar, the only infielder on the left side of the infield. Two and two. See if he gets another breaking ball. Fastball lifted down the left field line and out of play. Two teams with similar records, and of course Houston will separate itself from the Twins with another game here tonight. And Astros in a division where they don't have a runaway leader like the Twins do in their division. White Sox lost. They're stuck on 19 wins, but Seattle leading the West with 15 wins. So starting play today, the Astros winning only a third of their games, but they're only 6.5 games out. Now, the White Sox ended up losing to the Red Sox, but the Twins started the day and almost certainly will finish the day 11 games back. And in the dirt, 3 and 2.
One more. And a battle.
Presley trying to clean up what has been a messy game here for the Twins. Down by 10 runs. And ball 4. And that'll bring up Valbuena. Valbuena with a single, a sacrifice, a strikeout, and a ground out. Ball 1.
All of a sudden, Ryan Presley having a little trouble with his command. 18 pitches, a couple strikeouts and a walk.
And up and away. With a couple of strikeouts to start his inning of work, then a deep count and a walk. Now 2-0 to Valbuena. Two and 1. Astros starting a 10-game homestand with this series. Twins, of course, go from here to Chicago. They'll play Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday afternoon. Then they come home for a very quick homestand, 3 games with the Orioles. Another first-place ball club. And then they head out on the road to Cleveland and Detroit. Strike called, and it's 2 and 2.
Doesn't get any easier. In baseball, you earn it every day. You've got to figure it out. And the Twins probably have more questions after a game like this than any other time during this crazy start to their season.
Big chopper and a foul ball. CenturyLink, what's next? Twins will see a right-hander and a couple of left-handers. We mentioned last night John Danks was designated for assignment. Doesn't get easy for the Twins with that Chicago pitching staff. Look at their ERAs, 1.8, 1.6, 1.4.
Yeah, 14 wins and 1 loss amongst all 3 of those guys, so it's not going to be easy in Chicago.
White Sox swept the Twins at Target Field. Twins have already been swept by 3 teams within their division. The Royals first, then the White Sox, then the Tigers.
And if the Twins lose this game, which seems inevitable, their road record is going to fall to 2-12.
And now a full count to Valbuena. We are the last game still in play today.
Makes sense. It's getaway day.
Foul back. So we got that going for us. Presley had a couple of quick outs here, and it looked like he was going to get done with just a handful of pitches, but now he's thrown 25.
And the pace just keeps getting slower. You know, guys are getting outs, and then all of a sudden it just stalls.
And another foul ball on a 95-mile-per-hour fastball. Presley will try it again on 3-2, but now Valbuena backs out of the box. And ball four. Pair of strikeouts, now pair of walks. And Jason Castro is going to try to hit one more ball into the Crawford seats to left field. He hit one out last night. He hit one out today. Came close. And look at this. Michael Tonkin has to fire it up here because Presley's having a hard time getting the third out.
.27 pitches for Ryan Presley.
So I'm guessing Presley will get one more chance to get the third out here, and then.
Yeah, they don't want him to rack up a bunch of pitches here. A game like this that's just already almost lost hope.
Fastball, strike one. One and one.
Hi, Jake.
.29 pitches for Presley, 17 strikes. The back-to-back two-out walks have made an already long night painfully longer.
He's struggling. There's no question. This last two hitters throwing a lot of pitches. Came in, got Carlos Gomez on 3 pitches, struck him out, and struck out Evan Gattis. And this is going to be 306 for the game. Pitches thrown.
To the gap in right center field. And Presley will give up a couple of runs here. Castro driving in 2 with a double. And the agony continues. And Paul Molitor on the top step, and he's going to come out and get Ryan Presley, who could not pitch a full inning here, trying to mop up the game. We'll take a break and be back with more in a moment. first, and then Paul Molitor ejected by Scott Berry as Presley comes off the mound.
Well, he can't sustain his frustration and says something to Scott Berry. He throws him out. Paul's probably telling him, and I know what this is about. Paul's saying, well, the guy's out of the game, and you're going to have rabbit ears and yell, you know, and that's frustrating. And
yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what the manager's appeal was. Why make an already miserable night worse? Presley is upset as he might have been with Berry's balls and strike calling here in the 8th inning.
Umpire's got to turn his back to the pitcher right there. He has no business watching him go into the dugout. You know he's frustrated. If he yells, so what? Let it roll.
So White will hit. He entered the game as a pinch runner last inning. Quite a night for Castro. Walked twice. 4 runs batted in. Scored 3 times.
Home run and a double.
And that's off the glove of Murphy. Sixth relief pitcher used for the Twins. Everyone except Tommy Malone, who pitched multiple innings last night. Fernando Abad and Kevin Jepson, the closer.
It appeared that Castro did not even want to run to third base, but he was. That's part of baseball. You've got to take the base when it's given to you.
Popped up. And Nunez in the outfield grass ends another ugly inning for the Twins. Such majestic music for such a putrid ball game. It's 16-4. And Eduardo Nunez will lead things off in the ninth.
How many bloops and blasts and walks and bloops and blasts do we need here to get back into this one?
Oh, it's 16-4. I can't even say I've seen crazier things happen. Nunez takes a strike. And outside a ball. Nunez with a pair of doubles in the first 4 innings back when it mattered. now 2-1. Two and one. Excuse me, 3-1. My senses have been dulled.
Very, very testing, isn't it?
3-2.
I know that I'm supposed to keep adding insight in a game like this.
Yeah.
And I got quiet.
Foul back. Not only that, you're supposed to keep me from jumping out of the booth. And
Stay in here.
You've done a great job.
Yeah, you're still alive.
3-2 to Nunez. Fly ball right field. And coming in is Springer. One down. And that'll bring up Santana. Santana struck out in the first, singled, stole a base, scored in the third, drove in a run with a ground ball in the fourth, and then just hit a ground ball in the sixth.
Be interesting to see who the scorekeeper gives the win to.
Yeah, just thinking about that.
Feldman Mike Fiers only went 4 2/3, so he doesn't qualify. And then Josh Fields came in through 1/3 of an inning. Scott Feldman has thrown. He threw 2 innings.
Well, there you go.
In his second.
It's got to be the guy that.
Probably Feldman, huh?
But now that 1/3 of an inning was somewhat significant because the Twins they had the bases loaded. Although Phillies, I guess, loaded the bases. Or Fields. 1-2 to Danny Santana. And a bouncer to second. Bobble, recovered, 2 away. And Eduardo Escobar will hit. Escobar entered the game in the 6th inning, hit the first pitch he saw hard to left field, but Colby Rasmus caught it near the warning track. Up and away, ball 1. Hit to center. Gomez is there. And the romp is over. Anthony LaPanta in convincing fashion. The Astros hand the Twins their 20th loss of the season.